thought we could play around with some watercolor. I just felt like going out live just for funsies and talk about some different watercolor tips that I've been picking up because, you know, I am a little bit, oh gosh, hold on one second. My computer's being, I think I need to restart my computer actually. Um, uh, okay, yes. So, but yeah, I want to tell it's just some fun tips and fun things of that nature. Today I have, I'm just playing around with this Van Gogh palette. I also have some Daniel Smith, but I also have this random palette of just like paint that I have left over. This is actually, the last time we went live, this is actually India ink. And I forgot that that wasn't watercolor. So I might have ruined this well because once it dries, like it's done. So we'll see, we'll see what happens with that. But I figured we'd play around with, use up these colors actually. But I've been thinking a lot about some of the random tips that I've been seeing. And one of them is actually pretty useful because I realized that while I have been like wetting down my paints, two things. I don't think I've been wetting them down enough, and I don't think I've been letting them sit long enough to actually activate. So I think I'm gonna just wet these down pretty good. I've got the wells, you know, pretty full here, and I'm gonna let those sit for a minute. And then I'm going to do the same here. This one's a little bit tougher. This one's still pretty full. I've had this. I got this. This is my first palette. I got this over the summer, and it has been. It's still super full, even though like I painted a whole bunch of stuff. I've done so much playing with this palette, but yeah, it's just been. I barely made a dent, so that's really cool. And then I've got Haobong or Haobong. Is that how you say it? Baohong. Oh no, it's Baohong. Baohong watercolor paper, 100% cotton. Um, this is it's which one is this? It's this guy. And I really like this. So leave this here, and then I'm using. Let's take some water here, and then I'm using a number 6 round brush. And I actually really like the round brush. I think that a lot of the people who say that this is a good one to start, I think they're pretty right because like I used some flat ones and I've used some of the finer ones which are great for like the uses, but I find like just for playing around and for experimenting, I actually really like the round brush. So that's pretty cool. So I thought I would, oh, I didn't wet these down. Hold on one second. Let me get this going. But I don't have any kind of plan. I kind of want to use these up and I want to play around with some other things and just kind of see what happens. But I'm gonna wet those down quite a bit because I just kind of want to see, I want to see what we're gonna get out of it. And my, like, I don't have like a plan, but I kind of just want to make like a random painting with these colors and just kind of see what happens with it. And I think about with learning what, I'm gonna wet this down a little bit, just like, and I like using the spray bottle just because the water disperses not uniformly, and so I can come up with some pretty cool shapes. So I think I'm just gonna start in the corner here and just lay down some paint. Because this has been used once before, it might be a little duller. Not all that worried about that because I just want to see what happens. And this is a mix of, actually this one's mostly Daniel Smith. This one has some of the Van Gogh in it. But I'm just gonna start playing around with it and see where we go from there. But one of the things, and I've talked about this in another live, but one of the things that I've helped me a lot with art and with like learning new things has been leaning into my learning style. And so when I'm looking up like tutorials or looking up just information, I'm focused more on how the instructor is teaching it as opposed to um oh gosh, I just lost my train of thought. I like how hearing how they talk about the process, and not so much about like their credentials or any of that, just because I don't know. Sometimes instructors will teach things in a way that just doesn't resonate with my learning style, and it doesn't always make sense to me in the same way. So that's kind of how I pick who I'm going to learn from. But overall, um, gosh, I think this actually has some shadow purple in it, which is really that's a really fun color because it has this gray with this purple to it, which is really fun. Um, but I'm just I'm pretty beginner still to watercolor, and so there have been like some fun tips that I've been picking up. Like this one, I think we're really going to see a difference with adding more waters initially to those wells. And one of the issues I've been having with like the Daniel Smith in particular not um, is not getting some of the effects that a lot of other people are getting with it. And I haven't really been able to figure out what the difference is. And I'm wondering if it is just like lack of paint at the beginning. Um, do I know who Toga is? No, who's that? Is that a watercolor instructor? What else was it? Oh yeah, so I want to see how that kind of comes along um, with the Daniel Smith. So I kind of want to clear up. I'm gonna clear up this well and wipe that out, and then we'll head into some of that Daniel Smith. I'm really excited for the undersea green because I've seen some really cool things with it, but I haven't been able to get it to do it. It just looks like bland and boring. So I'm gonna see how that looks. Okay, so that's pretty well wiped out there. Yeah. Okay. We're just gonna commit. We're just gonna do it. Okay. This is I just got this cute ceramic palette. It's by the Bowerbird. And it's actually really cute. It's really nice because you just put like a little bit in there. And I purposefully got this with a lot of different wells so that I can mix my own colors in the wells as I learn. But that was like one other thing that I was thinking about is a lot of like instructors and people, teaching is they talk about how you shouldn't, um, gosh, sorry, you guys. They talk about how you shouldn't get a palette with a lot of colors because you should learn how to mix your own. The problem is that when you're first like figuring out watercolor, like you're just trying to get your bearings. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're just trying to figure out how to even use the medium. So I kind of find it. I feel like sometimes you just got to start with a larger palette. You just do, and then you can figure out how to mix colors later. I don't know. I feel like sometimes big like pros forget what it's like to actually be a beginner. And being a beginner is there's just a lot to learn. As a beginner, you're doing the most. Like as a beginner, you are doing the most, and whatever makes that easier, that's like everything. It's everything. So sometimes when I hear people say do this for sure and don't do this, it's like you got to lean into your learning style and figure out what's manageable because there have been so many times in which I've tried to follow um, advice for beginners, but it doesn't work for me because because I get, overwhelmed or intimidated or things don't work out the way that I want them to or like I hoped they would. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not Okay, this is interesting. So I'm pretty sure that this is the old undersea green, the one that I mixed the day before. So we'll see how the difference. Oh, I mixed that way. makes that way thicker with that one. Maybe this isn't the undersea green. I might be lying. I might be lying. Yeah, I think this is actually from this palette. Never mind, I lied. I wonder, oh wait, the India ink does come up from the ceramic. I didn't think it was going to. I like that, that's cool. I thought it was gonna stain it because it's been there for a week or two. I think it was last time I went live actually. I keep meaning to, but I keep forgetting. But anyway, yes. So leaning into learning style has definitely been my friend in a lot of learning art. And also just knowing what's going to make it feel approachable to me at first, because I can always pivot, I can always make adjustments to how I want to proceed. I think this looks kind of crazy on camera, but in person it's coming together actually quite nicely. I've got like I'm just right next to a window, and I thought maybe the natural light would make it come up on camera a little bit better, but I don't think it's working so well. That's one. And then, for brushes, I had originally started with, I'm not sure if I have them here or if they might be actually in my backpack, but I was using water brushes in the beginning only. And they were just like these cheap plastic ones, but I actually really liked learning with them because it was kind of fun having just the water in the handle, and all I had to do was just squeeze, and then oops, what's that? And then it was just right there on the page, and I really liked um it was like the whole experience was very different than having like a regular brush, because I didn't have to keep dipping into water. I could just squeeze the handle and get more water. So switching to regular brushes and needing to dip more is something I needed to get used to, but at the same time, I kind of liked, I like having the experience of both. I like having that option. Here, okay, let's see. Actually, hold on. I think I'm gonna wipe these two out, actually. This green, get that out of here. And then I wanna mix up some other colors and just kind of see what we're gonna get here. Oh man, I was gonna try to go live in the forest yesterday. I had taken my sketchbook, but I didn't have any service, and I wasn't able to do it. I was so bummed. Because that would have just been really fun to take you guys out to the forest and do some sketching and like line and wash. It's super fun. Okay, so these have been sitting now for, how long have we been live for? So they've been live for several minutes at this point. So this is the shadow purple. So I'm gonna put some of that down here, and I'm not really sure how much to use. I think we're just gonna kind of go for it because I want to see how dark it is, and how much, because the water to pigment, you guys, it is like, oh yeah, that's so pretty. I don't know if you can see. It has like this, it's like this dark gray, but it has like this purple, what I guys call it undertone, and it granulates really beautifully on the page. I hope you can see that. It might be coming up lighter on camera just simply because I am next to this window, but it is really pretty. And that'd be like a really fun thing to learn about color mixing too, is I've mixed a lot of my own colors, but getting this kind of like, I don't know if you can see, I hope you can see, but getting this kind of variation in there, granulation, is so cool. It would be so fun to figure out how to make it myself. But using a little more paint, I think, is actually, I think I was watering them down too much. So that's kind of interesting. I think I'm going to actually, you know what? Actually, I want to use this with some of the undersea green. So I'm going to play with that and see how that looks. Let's see, let's pick that up. Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's really pretty. Yeah, I like mixing those two together. So this is the undersea green with the shadow purple. And look how it's like not splotchy, not in a bad way, but I like how the colors here really change quite a bit. Yeah, Daniel Smith is actually it's just fun. It's just a fun. But again, I really like this Van Gogh palette because it is simple and I can get the colors that I want because there isn't so much variation to it. So I think there's a room for everything. There's room for everything. I'm not really like a brand loyalist in any regard. And I like mixing things up and mixing it all together. I need to refresh my browser because I think it's just getting hold on one second. Because I have a feeling that oh, there it goes. Okay. It was just stuck for a second. I'm filming separately than my laptop, so figuring out the tech has been its own adventure as well. If I'm being honest. Okay, and then I think in this well, I'm kind of digging. This is the phthalo blue, so I think I'm gonna start with some phthalo blue. I want to darken that up. I actually, you know what? Should we put some of the shadow purple in there? I think we should. I think that would be fun. So let's give that a go. I'm just really digging it, and I'm kind of having fun just mixing those two, mixing shadow purple with other colors. So let's give that a go. I think it does need more water though. Hold on one second. Let's pick that up. Don't want a whole lot. I just want to see how that's going to look with the phthalo blue. Okay, let's just do it. Commit. I do like this Balhong paper too. I was funny. I've used Canson a whole lot just because it was cheap, and because there are certain applications though that I do like using. That I do actually like using Canson for certain things. But overall, it is such a different experience with cotton paper. It is so fun. And there's just so much more you can get. Actually, hold on. I think I'm going to switch back to this other mix. But I think that is like the man, I do love being a beginner because there's so much play, and because I don't know a whole lot, because I only know enough to be dangerous. Because of that, I'm just free to play, and just kind of experiment and just not worry so much about the outcome. Whereas once I start getting like proficient in something, then I really start overthinking it and get in my own head, and so it's like I staying in that beginner mind and just letting things kind of happen. Trust my intuition. That seems to be like my favorite thing, honestly. And just letting things happen, just letting it go. I'm mixing all of these things together. I'm not even rinsing the brush in between. Okay, I think I want some. I'm gonna use up the little bit that's in here, but I'm going to wipe this one out, and I want to play with some red. Let's put some water in here. Oh wait, that was pink. That's okay. That's okay. I'll switch back to the, I forgot, or rose, I mean. I forgot that that's what that was. So we'll just mix the two of them together, I think. That is pretty, isn't it? Definitely needed more water in that one. Okay, so I'm gonna pick that up. It's got some of that rose in there. I'm just gonna drop this in here. And I do feel like this cotton paper though, I feel like it dries way faster than I would prefer. Okay. The other thing too about like, what do you call it? Overworking the paints. It seems like it's one of those things you just kind of have to do it, you know? Like you just kind of have to let that happen. and then like just learn from there. That seems to be like the real tea. But I think so much of this is it's a lot of guesswork. It's a lot of it's like by feel, and honestly, the chaotic nature of watercolor is kind of why I like it. It's kind of why I like it. It's just very it's unpredictable, but it in that way it feels like a collaborator, you know? Like you're only really in charge of some of it and you can't control all of it, and I find that very freeing. So I think that's why I like it. I actually heard somebody say, if you think you're doing watercolor wrong, you're probably right. Because it is so chaotic and it is such a crazy medium. And letting go and just, you know, not being too attached to the outcome is part of the magic of it, which I really appreciated. I appreciate that, not just the sentiment, but I also like appreciate that type of process. I think that's really fun. All right. Now this is drying a bit. I'm really liking it. I think I kind of want to use it for maybe some line and wash later. I think that'd be kind of nice. And I kind of want more of this actually in here. It's kind of just dropping that in. And again, I may be overworking some of this paint, but also, what do you do? You know? What do you do? I also kind of like to, where's that blue there? I'll put more of that in here. Oh, did I bring over, I have like another pad that I was gonna bring over here. It's smaller. Do I have it here? I meant to do better planning than this. Oh yeah, here it is. I think I've got a free, I think the sheet on, yes. So yeah, so we got another one. This is smaller. This is 5x7. Yes, 5x7 Meeden. So I think I'm going to set this aside for now because I do want to do, I've got my like brush pens and micron and everything here. So I think I might do something fun with that, but we'll see. So I'll set that aside and let that dry because it's looking a little crazy at the moment. The other thing I like doing too is like when it is this wet, I kind of like letting it run a little bit because this does dry like, you know, it just dries lighter, famously with watercolor. So we'll just kind of see how that goes. But I like painting random stuff just to relax and then figure out something else to do with it later. Because then I get the both worlds. I get to like chill out with it, but also have something fun at the end. All right, what should we do with this one? I kind of feel like we should pick up some of this India ink. Oops. I already used up that water. There we go. I'm gonna kind of put that in here. And I've got a separate, I do have a separate glass, so I can use that for, yeah, this is, it's totally breaking up. But with it being broken up like this, let's just see what it looks like. Let's just see what it looks like. Yeah, so it has like chunks in it. But honestly, that's kind of cool for certain things. So I'm gonna let that just kind of suspend there. And oops. And maybe we'll just do the whole thing. Yeah, let's do the whole thing. And then I think we'll just move some of this spray bottle water around with it. But this is all just experimenting, so we'll see how it looks. But I think if we that's crazy. I actually like, that's actually something to keep in mind for when I do inevitably forget that I leave India ink in a well and let it dry. I think that's actually kind of a fun thing for something, because I like experimenting so much, and I like mixed media, and I just like seeing how things will look together. And I'm probably using the brush completely the wrong way, and that's okay. That's all right. These play sessions are meant for just mucking around, honestly. Okay, I want to make sure I get all that India ink out of here. Any like speckles or anything. Yeah, I don't see anything. Anything else? I think we're good. I think we're good here. Okay. This is still, actually, this is still quite wet. Let's see. Let's see if I missed any spots. I think I missed this spot, actually. I'll bring that over that way. Yeah, there we go. That spot was still kind of dry. I like that speckling. I don't know if you can you guys see it? Can you see the speckling? I kind of like that. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Let's play with a different color then. I'm actually going to see if I can get the rest of this India out of here. Although I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I might have to wait on that, because some of that is still pretty stuck to the palette. So we'll just do a separate. Okay. What am I feeling? I'm kind of feeling this sienna color. Why don't we go with her? So plenty of water in this well. Pick this up. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Is that a hair? I think this is a, hold on, I've got cat fur. Okay, I got it. Speaking of cats, mine is doing quite well. She has not stepped in any paint or been a nuisance, so that's kind of fun. I'm just gonna kind of drop some in. I was actually thinking about doing some shapes, and then I totally forgot. I think we'll mess with that later. But I kind of want to just play with this and kind of speckle this around. Ooh, should we kind of see if we can get like a bit of a galaxy vibe? Maybe we should do that. I'm kind of feeling that. Let's try that. Let's just see what happens. think I'm gonna go with this blue. I also just love blue and sienna together, but I kind of wanna, let's just see. Let's just see how this looks together. I actually might zoom you in a little bit. Hold on. Let's see how this looks. Because I feel like with this smaller palette, we're kind of... How's that? I think that's pretty good. Let me get out of the way of this window. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to... Okay. I think that's better. What do you guys think? Does that look better? Can you see a little better? Okay. I like also that the speckles from the India ink are still there. So if you got like some dried paint that's kind of stubborn, you can find another use for it. And I've been reeling on this kick of like upcycling and using different things. Like I kind of want to get into, oops, sorry, just kicked the camera. I kind of want to start doing more upcycling and experimenting with like found objects, or like I picked up some plants from the forest and I want to kind of play around with maybe some, oh, I don't want that green. Whoops. That's okay. We can lift it. And just lift it. Oh, hopefully it's not too late. It's not too late. We can lift it. I just want to lift some of that color out of there because that was a little more than I wanted. Spray that a little bit. Lift it. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I did pick up some stuff from the forest the other day. Some plants that were just like had freshly like fallen off the plant, and I'm really interested in making I'm just gonna blot it. I'm too impatient. Okay. Yeah, I want to try to make my own paints, and I want to try to make my own materials for things, and I'm really excited about that. So that's something that I'm really getting into. I'm going to pull in some of this undersea green and see about that. Some of this pigment. And this pigment has already been sitting with some water. I just needed a little bit of extra to pick some more up. And that's actually been helping quite a bit. So that's pretty cool. But getting the water and the paint ratio is like, that's a whole learning curve in and of itself. Okay. I feel like I want to dip back into this red. That we mixed up earlier. I'm just kind of plop it down. But there have been a few projects that I've used where I just, I used something that, it was just like this, where I was just hanging out and relaxing, just painting with no vision, and then I end up making like some pretty fun stuff after. So as I almost treat this like I'm chilling out, just making something with no pressure, and the chances are I'll make something like cool later with it. I'm not putting any pressure on it. It's just, I know that I'm gonna have an option of doing something with this later. So that's pretty cool. I do like that. So this towel's getting a little nasty. I might have to switch it out soon. But one thing that I've also been playing with, you guys, is gouache. And gouache is so fun. I really like it because you can get in between, you know? And that's something that I've really been having a good time with, honestly. But you can get like a little more opaque, which is really fun. I think the funny thing to me about watercolor is it's sometimes wanting it to be a little darker than it is, but also I don't know where the line is because I mean again this comes back to uh, the whole watercolor is chaos idea of you just never really know when to stop because I don't want to overwork the paint, but at the same time I still don't really understand where that line is with watercolor, so I think we're just gonna keep playing with that and just see. Let me just make sure, double check the chat here because I have completely forgotten to look. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Somebody commented, "Do you know who Toga is?" But I'm wondering if they are Toga because their username says Toga. So I wonder if it was just like a silly fishing comment or something. Okay, there's that. I don't know if anybody else has any like random tips that you've picked up for watercolor. I feel like so much of it is it's just by feel. And again, like this is so like this palette is Daniel Smith, but then this palette over here, this one that I pulled out earlier, this one's Van Gogh. It's like a considered like beginner set. I think I just dipped my sleeve. Yes, I did. We're also watercolor painting our clothes today. I knew that was gonna happen, you guys. I knew it. I knew it. Anyway, this one's the Van Gogh palette. It's considered on the higher end of beginner, I believe. But what I like about it is it's just simple. It's simple, it's approachable, it's inexpensive. So to get started with it is so nice. And I actually really like the colors. And it has, okay, here's the other thing. It has enough colors to not feel like you need to mix a whole lot, but enough that you have something to choose from so you don't have to think about whether or not you want to mix anything. You can just kind of get going and then you can mix up, colors as you want to. So, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of like this was like a good middle the Van Gogh was like a good middle ground in terms of color assortment because there were enough to get going, but there were a lot of like the fundamentals so that I could start mixing my own colors and understanding how to do that with watercolor. Um, so that was actually this, I think getting something that's beginner is totally fine. You don't need the pro stuff, you know, at all. Um, and then there's this argument about light fast. I believe the Van Gogh palette is light fast. But it's like, man, when you're like, I'm not gonna keep this forever. You know what I mean? So like having a light, fast product doesn't really matter to me, especially if I'm keeping it in a sketchbook and it's not gonna be in the light anyway. And also if I really like a design, I can replicate it with something that is light fast later on as I get more proficient with painting and with watercolor, if that makes sense. So I don't know. The whole light fast argument, this seems to be like the first one people jump to with certain palettes of paint. But again, the Van Gogh is light fast, but man, I don't know. I feel like there's so many things to consider in the beginning, and I don't know that light fast is really one of them because this is just for fun and to learn and to like just collect like data as I go along. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, do I want to go further with this? I kind of do. I think I want to dip some more red into here. I think we're gonna do that and just see how that looks. Um, and when I'm dipping into the paint, I'm just kind of tapping it in, um, because I don't want to feel like I'm overworking anything or like I'm separating the paint out too much. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's a legit thing or a concern, but that's kind of what I'm up to right now. What should we do next? I like this blue, but I kind of want to darken it up. I'm gonna put some more of this. Um, I'm gonna put some more of this shadow purple in because I really like this color in general, but it's also been mixing up nicely with some of the other paints. Let's see here. Yeah, see, I like that blue way better for what I'm doing. And we'll see how that dries too, because famously, watercolor dries lighter. And then I kind of put some red over in this spot and just see. Just kind of tapping that in. The paper is, on both of these, the paper is buckling quite a bit, but we're using paper blocks. So they're all four sides are glued down. And I was actually really intimidated by the idea of needing to cut the paper off of the block. But what I've been using is, I don't know if I have it here, but oh, here it is. I've just been using a palette knife, and with paper blocks, there is, it might be too close to the camera. Oh no, we're okay. There's like this separated spot between the two, between the paper and the block. And I just slowly run this around gently. And what I'm finding is that with every paper block, the paint isn't totally even. So there's inevitably, I think on this block, I want to say it's this corner that has a lot more glue than the other sides or the other corners. And I'll save this one for last. So I'll run gently and slowly around everything, and then this corner in particular, I'll go a little slower. So that's been helping me from rip. See on this one here, I did lose a little bit of the edge on this one on the previous paper, but I'm getting a little more proficient at it, and making sure this is completely dry obviously will help in that process. But I did rip one trying to use an X-Acto knife, which was recommended by a pro, by somebody who had been, using watercolor for years and years and years, but that was too hard. I messed it up immediately. So using a palette knife or like a butter knife is thicker, and you need to be careful if it is a serrated butter knife, but just using like a basic palette has been really, really handy. So this is what I just use. It's just a crappy one from the clearance bin at the craft store, but I really like this one. So that's just like a random tip for cutting off paper from a block, because the X-Acto knife was just way too hard. I couldn't handle it. So we skipped out on that. Um, but I do want to pick up some other palette knives and things, but I'm trying not to buy too much. There's so many ways to like upcycle things you have around your house. And I've been experimenting with that quite a bit. So I think I'll probably be making some videos about that coming up. As well as just some of the supplies that aren't technically art supplies that I've been using for things. But there is something about using things in a way that they aren't like meant to be, and not having to buy so much, man. I'm really at a point now in which I don't want a lot of just trash in my house. Like I just want to have very specific things, like obviously paints, you know, but I really like experimenting with things that are not meant for that purpose, you know? And it also kind of like feeds into my curiosity. It feeds into that like um into that creativity, which is something that you know, I'm kind of here for. So getting a little more creative in terms of using supplies and what I'm making and how I'm making things and exploring different possibilities has been. I keep reaching for this green, you guys. I gotta wipe this well out. I'm just gonna dab it because I really don't like that green for some reason, and I don't feel like messing with it. I just wanna clean that well out. We'll do that 1 second. I'm gonna grab this other green first. God, what a silly person. What a silly person. Okay, I am gonna. Where's that other? I had another paper towel here. This one's pretty much done though. I think we can retire this towel with this paint. Just wipe that out. Did we get it all? This is one corner, I think, and then we're done. Okay, that's. I feel better about that. That's less annoying to me now. Listen, that was really killing me. I think I'm gonna lift this up a little bit here. Okay. What else do we feel like doing? I kind of feel like this is it for. Oop. We didn't even touch our Van Gogh palette, you guys. I wish I had. The one bummer about the paper blocks though is that now if you're like messing around and you're playing with multiple things, now you are kind of stuck waiting for this to dry unless you're going to trash it completely. So now I'm stuck. I should have, yeah, I might pick up a third one. But I also want to figure out how to make my own paper, my own watercolor paper. I think that would be deluxe. I think that'd be so much fun. Just to know how to do it and just like have the option of like my own handmade paper and maybe even make like my own paper block. I'm just so curious about those things. I don't know. Just having that knowledge, you know? Nothing is wasted. That's the other thing about learning new things and being curious is that there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn and so much applies to other things. I said I was gonna throw this away. Here we go. Takeout napkins. I collect these like crazy. If I see a takeout napkin, I'm grabbing it to use for my to use for brushes. But yeah, so nothing is wasted. Whenever I'm learning anything, and like if I ever feel like I'm wasting my time with something, I always kind of ask myself, um, what am I, you know, asking myself what I can learn and how I can apply this later, and almost just do like problem solving for problems that don't exist in my head. I don't know if that's weird, but sometimes I just like to imagine scenarios and just try to figure out my way out of them or how I could do something different. That might be a really weird thing. I don't know. I've always liked puzzles too, so and sometimes I've actually had dreams about puzzles. Such a weird. Sounds so weird. All right, there's that. I think I had way too much coffee this morning. I think that's definitely I need to kind of like this like weird odd orange color we mixed up. Kind of like that. I kind of want to dip that into here in some certain places. I can't wait to see how this dries. And I haven't decided what this actually is yet. Because sometimes, like, you know, when you get to like the middle of something abstract and then you're trying to like figure out what this might be. But I think I'm kind of feeling like galaxy ish or like mountain range ish. I'm not sure. But I think we just keep adding colors and just kind of see what happens. Oh, wait, actually, what time is it? I do need to check the time, you guys. Oh, yeah. I just realized it is after 10 in the morning. So I might actually have to bail out on this. But thank you for hanging out with me, and we'll be back on again. I did just upload an intro video to my channel because um, I haven't actually made videos besides shorts and going live, but I'm really starting to get into like having fun editing and creating like actual concepts. So that's pretty cool. Check that out, and I will see you guys later. And I hope you have a wonderful day creating. You get chaotically curious, and I'll see you next time. Bye.